Hare Krishna. Please accept our respectful obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We welcome all of you to session 11 of Sri Bhagavatamrita. Today we will start with Canto 3. And so before starting, we will just recite some invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Pankajanabhaya Nama Pankajamaline Nama Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajeshu Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatra Dharana Paraha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanatha Swaminiti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaurakatha Dhamadaya Nagaragramatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangurlangayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all of you over YouTube Live, all of our wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis on YouTube Live and on Facebook Live. We welcome each and every one of you. So today we will start the most awaited third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is entitled as Status Quo. So Srimad Bhagavatam, as we were discussing, the first two cantos form the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And today we will move a little higher to the calf, the thighs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of this third canto. And the fourth canto also formed. This is mentioned in the Padma Purana. So we will give a brief analogy of that in a little while. But before we move to what we are going to be discussing in third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we just want to give you a little summary of what we have been discussing over the past 2 weeks. Today is the start of the 11th session. And we finished the first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. We finished second canto. Today we are starting the third canto. And in the 13th chapter of the first canto, there's a very significant verse. That chapter is entitled Dhritarashtra Leaving Home. And there the first verse, Srila Shukadev Goswami explains that Vidura returns back from his pilgrimage. For a brief time, he comes back to Hastinapur after his pilgrimage, and while he was at his pilgrimage, he met the great sage Maitreya Muni. So just hearing that statement one time, at that point, Shukadev Goswami did not elaborate what Vidura did, or how he met Maitreya Muni, or what did they discuss. None of that was told. Just one statement was made. So here in the beginning of this third canto, Parikshit Maharaj, he just remembered that one statement made by Shukadev Goswami. And the third canto is starting with that very question, that you had mentioned that Vidura came back to Hastinapur. So now where did he actually, you said that he met Maitreya Rishi and he received transcendental knowledge from him. So where and how and what did they actually talk? So that encompasses this entire third canto. That what words, the first part of the third canto is talking about the discussions of Maitreya Rishi and Vidura. So we see that, how technically we can understand that the timeline when Vidura actually left Hastinapur was before the beginning of the Battle of Kurukshetra. That's when Vidura actually left Hastinapur. And when he left Hastinapur, that's when the Battle of Kurukshetra started. And we see that in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in chapters 7 through chapter 12, from the son of Drona punished, the prayers of Queen Kunti, passing of Pitama Bhishma, then Krishna leaving for Hastinapur, then coming to Dwarka, entering Dwarka, and Krishna, going back to Hastinapur the final time during the birth of Maharaj Parikshit. So that particular chapter, chapter 12, that chapter ends with the verse saying that after the birth of Maharaj Parikshit, Krishna then comes back to Dwarka. He leaves Hastinapur the final time. And at that time, Arjuna accompanied Krishna back to Dwarka. That is mentioned. And this was the time that when Arjuna was not in Hastinapur, that Vidura actually returned from his pilgrimage. And although Vidura had already found out from Uddhava, we'll see how, that from Uddhava he had already found out that Krishna had left this world. But he withheld this information from the rest of the four Pandavas because he did not want to, give them so much of grief, because Vidura knew how attached the Pandavas are to Krishna. And he saw that Arjuna is not there, so he immediately understood that Arjuna should be coming back soon with this message anyway, that Krishna has wrapped up his pastimes from the world. So Vidura withheld this information. And Vidura actually had come only for a brief period of time to Hastinapur because he just wanted to give shiksha to Dhritarashtra and to make him leave Hastinapur and go to the, for the last stage of his life. And at that end of this chapter is how all three of them, Dhritarashtra, Devi Gandhari, and Vidura, they leave the palace and they go to the Himalayas. And right after that, Arjuna returns from Dwarka with the news of Krishna's departure from this world. And then after that, the Pandavas retire, making Maharaj Parikshit the king. So this is the entire timeline, how the pastimes take place. So we will try to give you as much as we can so that we can understand the entire, the Srimad Bhagavatam is so beautiful that sometimes we find things that will come up in, like in Canto 3, we are going to see that how many things, like Uddhava, when Uddhava will start speaking, we'll see that he's talking about the pastimes of Krishna. So that is giving glimpses of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He will talk about what Krishna actually told Uddhava in the form of the Uddhava Gita, which is part of the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So like that, we are getting, like little trailers of what is coming up. So we have to stay tuned. So we will try to give you as much as the chronology of events. As we understand it from our acharyas, we'll try to share that with all of you. So with this, we move to the first chapter of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is entitled Questions by Vidura. So Maharaj Parikshit, as we said, he asks Shukadev Goswami that where and when did the meeting and discussion take place between Saint Vidura and the grace of Maitreya Muni? Where did both of them meet? So Sukadev Goswami, he starts the narration from text 6 onwards of this particular chapter, the first chapter of the third canto. He starts with a little bit of the history of what actually impelled Vidura to leave Hastinapur. So he started by saying that all the wrongdoings that Kaurava, under the supervision of Dhritarashtra, had done to the Pandavas. What all they had done, what all atrocities had they performed against the Pandavas. So Shukadev Goswami mentions a few of them. Like he mentions the way that he built a house of lac, tried to burn the Pandavas down. Then Dhritarashtra also did not stop Dushasana from pulling on the hair of Mother Draupadi, and when he dragged her into the assembly of the Kurus and he tried to disrobe her in front of all the assembly of the Kurus, and how the Pandavas were so unfairly defeated in the gambling match, and they were exiled into the forest. And when they, after serving their period of exile, when they came back and asked very rightfully their claim of their kingdom, he was refused. The Pandavas refused under the supervision of Dhritarashtra. So Shukadev Goswami is directly saying here that it was all Dhritarashtra who was completely, he uses the word that he was completely overwhelmed by illusion and his over attachment to his son. And in fact, the Pandavas, when they were refused to be given their own share, at that time the Pandavas sent Krishna himself as Shanti Dut. Shukadev Goswami is mentioning here in this chapter that Krishna came himself as Shanti Dut, and he begged that at least so that the Pandavas can continue their Kshatriya religious duty, so that they can perform their religious duty as a Kshatriya, please give them at least 5 villages. And Duryodhan arrogantly replied, that I will not give them even enough land that will be able to go through the eye of a needle. That was how envious Duryodhan was towards the Pandavas. How envious Duryodhan was. Let us try to do a little anusmarana here. When Krishna entered Hastinapur as the Shanti Dut, Duryodhan, he knew the prowess of Krishna. He knew that Krishna is very, very powerful. That Krishna, if he wants, he can do anything. He knew that. So to appease Krishna, he had organized a very, very, like a chappan bhog kind of delicacy in his own quarters. Duryodhan had organized that. But knowing, Krishna is the Paramatma in everyone's heart. And knowing that the intention of Duryodhan was not correct, Krishna refused to go to and honor the invitation of Duryodhana. Krishna refused it. So here the question can be asked that why is Krishna partial? How can Krishna be partial? He should be, even Duryodhana is his son. He is also part and parcel of Krishna. Why did Krishna be so cruel towards Duryodhana? Why did he do that? Well, Krishna, he is really partial. And he declares it boldly in the Bhagavad Gita. He says that he first makes the statement that I am actually equivalent to everybody, but those who are deeply attached to me through devotional service, I specially favor them. That's his statement. He doesn't shy away from making that statement that Krishna is partial to his devotees. So therefore we see that the three personalities, Lord Ramachandra, Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya, they have three very, very unique personalities. Lord Ramachandra, he is Niyam Parayan. He follows rules and regulations. Even if it comes to his own wife, he would abandon her and, ask her to go to the forest because he is Niyam Parayan. He will see what is actually good as a monarch. To establish Ram Rajya, he will do what is needed. He is Maryada Purushottam. So he is the abider of rules and regulations. Niyam Parayan. That's Lord Ram. Lord Krishna, he is Prem Parayan. That he is partial to devotees who are in love with him. That is Krishna's nature. We can't take that away from him. Krishna is so merciful. He is especially partial to his devotees. He can do anything. He can even violate laws. He can break his promises. He can do anything. He is so much in love with his devotees. So much in love with his devotees. He can violate any rules and regulations. That is Krishna. He is Prem Parayan. And Lord Chaitanya, he is known as Kripa Parayan. And Lord Chaitanya, his mercy is what predominates his interaction with devotees. That's how Mahaprabhu interacts. That Lord Chaitanya, he doesn't even see whether one is qualified, whether one is not qualified. He just is freely distributing pure love of Krishna. All we have to do is beg for that mercy. That enechi oshodhi maya nashibaro lagi Horinamu Mahamantra Lao Tumi Mangi. That all you have to do is just beg for the holy name, just ask for the holy name, and I have brought this Oshadi, this Maha Oshadi that I will give you. All you have to do is ask. And more Kripa Parayan than even Lord Chaitanya is Lord Nityananda. He's asking even if you don't ask. Nityananda Prabhu's mood is that even if you don't ask, I'm giving it to you. In fact, if you beat me up, the blood may be coming out of my forehead, but I will still give you mercy. No conditions. That is Lord Nityananda. That is how merciful Lord Nityananda is. And that same mercy, this kripa of Lord Nityananda, is what is carried on by Srila Prabhupada, because of whom we are sitting here today, even during this pandemic situation that we are all in. And thanks to all this technology that we are doing sadhu sangha with each other because of what Srila Prabhupada has given us. What the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, the glorious disciples of Srila Prabhupada, are giving us. Their love, their care, their genuine concern for all of us, all our Guru Vargas, so gloriously extending themselves, just manifesting this mood of Lord Nityananda's kripa they're giving to us. That is what our Guru Vargas are doing, displaying the magnanimous kripa of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. So, sorry, we just went a little astray, but coming back again. So, this is what Shukadev Goswami is telling to Maharaj Parikshit, that Dhritarashtra, he was overwhelmed by illusion and over-attachment to his son. And the Anusmarana that we were doing, that Krishna wantedly did not accept the invitation of Duryodhana, but rather he went to the home of Vidura, his pure devotee. And there he accepted just, corn parathas and sak. And that's how he just ate, just spinach curry and some chapatis. That's all Krishna ate. And in fact, after eating, Vidura's, generous wife, the devoted wife of Vidura, she came and offered a banana, and she was so much enamored by the beauty of Krishna that she peeled the banana. She kept the banana in her hand and she gave the peel, and Krishna ate the peel. That's how much Krishna reciprocates with love. Krishna is not really seeing what we are offering to him, but the mood with which we are offering to him. So he's Bhavagrahi Janardhan. So even as Krishna came as Shanti Dut, he did not, compromise his Prem Parayan, how he is favoring his devotees. He did not compromise that. But when Dhritarashtra even refused to do that, then there was no other way other than, the battle of Kurukshetra. So after Krishna left, from Hastinapur, returning, disappointedly that Dhritarashtra didn't give even the 5 villages that Krishna asked for. So at that time, Vidura came to see Dhritarashtra. Shukadev Goswami is saying. And he came to give good counsel to Dhritarashtra, to make him understand that at least return to the Pandavas what rightfully belongs to them. Or at least just return, or at least just give. If you're not returning what rightfully belongs to them, then give them what Krishna asked for. It's just asking for 5 villages. Give them that. And then in text 13 of this chapter, Vidura tells a very important point to King Dhritarashtra. He says, you are maintaining offense personified Duryodhan as your infallible son, but he is envious of Lord Krishna. And because you are thus maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. Relieve yourself of all this ill fortune as soon as possible and do good to the whole family. Such, was the conviction of Vidura. This is direct translation from text 13 of this particular chapter. That Vidura is telling that if you are, he is this Duryodhana, your son, you are so attached to him, but he is envious of Krishna. You are just going to be the cause of the downfall of your entire family. Don't do that. Don't do that. And Duryodhan, he just entered at that very moment. Shukadev Goswami continues to explain that very moment, Duryodhan walked in with Dushasana, with Karna, and with Shakuni. And hearing these words coming out from Vidura's mouth, Duryodhan spoke extremely harshly to Vidura. And he said, that who asked you to come here? You are the son of a kept mistress, and you are so crooked that you spy on the interest of the enemy against those on whose support you have grown up. Just get out from here. Toss him out of this palace immediately and leave him with only his breath. This is exact translation, how Duryodhan spoke to Vidura. So hearing these harsh words of Duryodhan, Vidura was deeply hurt, and he just left his brother's palace and he went on to the pilgrimage. So text 20 of this chapter says that he visited Prabhas Kshetra, and at that time he heard the news that Maharaj Yudhishthir had become the emperor and held the world under one military strength and flag. So remember, the battle of Kurukshetra was only for 18 days. So by the time that Vidura reached Prabhas Kshetra, the Kurukshetra battle was over, and he came to know that Maharaj Yudhishthir and the Pandavas were victorious. But he also started feeling bad for his other, nephews, the Kauravas, and he did, the last rites at Prabhas Kshetra, and then he came to Vrindavan at the banks of the Yamuna, and there he happened to meet this great personality, Uddhava, the topmost devotee of Lord Krishna. And meeting with Uddhava, Vidura started inquiring from Uddhava. They embraced each other, and Vidura started inquiring, so how is Krishna, how is his family, how are his sons, Pradyumna, Anuruddha, Samba, how is Akrura, how's Shursen, how's Ugrasen, how's Vasudev? And then he started inquiring also about the Pandavas and Queen Kunti, and he also inquired, how is Dhritarashtra doing, how he feels so bad. Vidura started saying that I feel so bad for the pitiful condition of my dear brother. So this is how it concludes the first chapter of this particular third canto. Chapter 2, we see how Uddhava then is talking about the remembrance of Lord Krishna. That's how this chapter is entitled, Remembrance of Lord Krishna. So when Vidura thus inquired, Uddhava was unable to answer immediately, and his attachment to Krishna, right from his childhood, was so deep that he was, for a moment, for a few moments actually, Uddhava could not just speak. And in text 7, Uddhava tells Vidura that Sri Krishna has actually wrapped up his pastimes here in this world. So Vidura came to know that Krishna has already left this planet. And in text 7 of this particular verse. And Uddhava at that time, he started narrating to Vidura some of the very bewildering realizations that he has of Krishna. He said that when I think of Lord Krishna, my dear Vidura, that how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, although he is unborn, he is Ajanma, but he is appearing as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. And how he went away from his father's protection to Vraj and lived there incognito out of the fear of his enemy. He is Abhaya. He is feared by fear personified, but he appears to be hiding from his enemy out of fear. And he is going off to Vraja. And how, although unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Mathura in fear and he went to Dwarka. So all these bewildering incidences give me a lot of distress. So we should understand that Uddhava, he is, he was a Jnana Mishra Bhakta, he is a pure devotee from his childhood. There's no doubt about it. Just like Shukadev Goswami, that when he came out of his mother's womb, he is a pure devotee, but he was in the stage of Brahmavadi. Uddhava, although he was not a Brahmavadi, he is a pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada mentions very specifically that Uddhava is a pure devotee from childhood. But he was always, he knew that Lord Krishna is supreme and that, Bhagavan aspect of the Lord, he knew it very well. But somehow the way that Krishna would reciprocate with the devotees would bewilder Uddhava sometimes, like it is mentioned here. So this bewilderment of Uddhava was resolved when Uddhava visited Vrindavan. And he met with the Brajabasis personally when he took the letter of Krishna. And because Krishna wanted Uddhava to go through that realization, because Krishna wanted Uddhava to become a Prema Bhakta. So in order to get someone to the level of Prema Bhakta, it is said that we need to go and become subservient to the Vrajavadhus, the damsels of Vrindavan. So that was the turning point of Uddhava's life when he met the Vrajavadhus and the Brajabasis in Vrindavan. And he prayed that may I just be a blade of grass in Vrindavan so that the Brajabasis, at least when they walk, they'll put the dust of their lotus feet on my head. So it is said that till today, Uddhava is there in Vrindavan as a creeper and the grass in Vrindavan. And then the famous prayer of Uddhava, which was talked by Prabhu in his previous class, is in text 23 of this particular chapter. It's a very, very famous verse. Uddhava is saying, alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of a mother to Putana, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. How can we find someone more merciful that who wants to deliver his own enemy, who has come with the intention to kill Krishna. And Krishna is giving her the position of mother. How merciful is Krishna? So Uddhava is saying in text 23 of chapter 2 of 3rd Canto Srimad Bhagavatam, he's saying, Aho bakiyam stanakalakutam jigham shayapa yayadapi asadvi lebhe gatim dhatri uchitam tatonyam kam vadayalum sharanam vrajema. That if we don't take shelter of this kind of personality, who is so merciful, where else can we find this kind of mercy? One who is the well-wisher of even one's enemy. So therefore it is said that Krishna, he is such a loving father that he doesn't have ill intention towards anybody. Krishna doesn't have ill intention towards anybody. And the pure devotees of the Lord, who are genuine devotees of the Lord, they too imbibe this quality of Krishna. That's why they are called Ajata Shatrava, that they don't have any enemies, because they don't approach anyone with any kind of ill intent, like Krishna. That anyone who comes to do bad to Krishna, he still delivers them, gives them mercy. So then Uddhava goes on to describe the childhood pastimes of Krishna, killing of the various demons, chastising the Kaliya serpent, lifting Govardhan hill. And the final verse of this chapter, Uddhava glorifies the Rasa Leela and the Vrajavadhus and the unparalleled love that the gopis have for Krishna. That's the final concluding verse of chapter 2. And moving on to chapter 3, where Uddhava continued that when Krishna was 11 years old, he went with his elder brother Balaram, he went to Mathura, accompanied by uncle Akrura. And he killed Kamsa. Then Krishna Balaram went to Ujjain, to the ashram of Sandipani Muni, and studied under Sandipani Muni. Then Uddhava describes how the Lord kidnapped Rukmini and married her, and how on the request of the Lord's wife Satyabhama, he actually went to the garden of Indra in the heavenly planets and brought down the Parijat tree. How the Lord married 16,000 princesses and expanded into 16,000 forms, stayed with each of them in their individual palaces, and begot 10 children from each one of the 16,000 queens. That is Krishna. How he constructed, how he got the glorious name of Ranchor, that he fled Mathura and he, had everyone move to Dwarka, and there Krishna's, luxurious palaces, beautiful, beautiful, magnanimous palaces, that where his queens would stay. And Krishna, with each of those queens, he had 10 sons each. This is the opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if anyone wants to claim to be God, they need to do something like this. That is the magnanimity of Krishna. So then Uddhava says, now this chapter, as the title says, that it is the Lord's pastimes out of Vrindavan, Uddhava is describing. So then Uddhava goes on to describe the Lord's participation in the battle of Kurukshetra to uphold dharma. He talks about this. And then the end of this chapter, the Yadu dynasty, how the Yadu dynasty actually disappeared, by how the Yadu dynasty, the people of the Yadu dynasty were bewildered by Krishna, and all the descendants of Vrishni, Bhoja, and Andhaka, who were incarnations of various devatas, went to Prabhakshetra, while those who were eternal devotees of the Lord did not leave but remained in Dwarka, and they went back to the spiritual world. But some of them who were the devatas, they were told and instructed by Krishna to go to Prabhakshetra and then return back to their respective abodes. So this is the conclusion of chapter 3. Chapter 4 is entitled Vidura Approaches Maitreya. So in this chapter, it starts by the first verse says that thereafter, all of them meaning the Yadu dynasty, who were instructed by Krishna to come to Prabhashratra, they performed, they took bath in the holy river there at Prabhashratra, and then they, did some yagyas, they did some pujas along with the brahmanas there, and then they partook the remnants of the prasad, and they also drank a liquor that was made out of rice. So by drinking, they all became very delirious. And bereft of knowledge, they touched the cores of each other's hearts with harsh words. As by the friction of bamboos, destruction takes place, so also at sunset, by the interaction of the faults of intoxication, all their minds became unbalanced and destruction took place. And thus, the Yadus, they fought amongst themselves, and the other dynasty was over. So this is a very special thing. Sometimes we may ask that, why did Krishna choose to do that? Why did Krishna, make everyone just fight amongst themselves and not just make everyone just return to their respective positions just like that? But Krishna wanted to teach that what is the ill effects of, taking intoxication. Intoxication just, does we lose our rational thinking. So that's how Krishna, by one act of his, he serves many purposes. Then Uddhava continued to describe to Vidura that the Lord had instructed Uddhava to go to Badrikashram. But because Uddhava was so attached to Krishna, Uddhava followed Krishna to the bank of the river Saraswati, where the Lord sat very elegantly below a banyan tree. The Lord manifested his forearms, and his right lotus feet was over his left thigh, and the Lord looked mesmerizingly beautiful. And at that time, by the will of providence, Uddhava was having darshan of the Lord on the banks of the Saraswati. And even sage Maitreya, by the will of providence, arrived there at the same time. So there's a very beautiful picture of this, which we will share in a little while in the Bhagavatamrita group, in the WhatsApp group that all of you are. So, the link to join the group, the WhatsApp group, is there in all of the live streams that we have. So if you want to have darshan of this beautiful picture, please join that group. So you can, we will be sharing that picture in a little while. It's a very, very beautiful picture. You can really see Krishna's right leg over his left thigh, and Krishna sitting so elegantly with Uddhava, singing praise of Krishna, and Maitreya Rishi, with his long beard, he's also coming and taking darshan of Krishna. Very, very beautiful, mesmerizing picture. So then Krishna began speaking to Uddhava that I know your heart's desire, my dear Uddhava, that it is to associate with me and to serve me. And I give you this benediction that all of your desires will be fulfilled, my dear Uddhava. And Uddhava, feeling very, very grateful, he glorified the Lord and he begged the Lord to bless him with transcendental knowledge. So the Lord thus instructed Uddhava, with the details of which, again, will be there in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. But then Uddhava, he tells Vidura that now I am on my way to Badrikashram. So where the Lord has incarnated as Narayan Rishis there, and I will be going there, I will associate with them, and I will leave my body there by the will of the Lord. So as Uddhava was getting ready to leave from the banks of the Jamuna, Vidura stopped Uddhava and said, my dear Uddhava, pure devotees of the Lord are exceptionally merciful. And you have heard the transcendental instructions given by the Lord himself. So I request you that please, before you go to Badrikashram, you share that with me also, so that I may share it with everybody else. So Uddhava, being very pleased with this humble plea of Vidura, he responded by saying that by the divine will of the Lord, there's a very special arrangement that now is the time for you to meet with your guru. So your guru, sage Maitreya, he was also present with me when the Lord was instructing me. So it was not by accident that Maitreya just happened to be there. Sage Maitreya was there with a purpose, so that what he has heard from the Supreme Lord himself, he can impart that same knowledge to you. So therefore, Uddhava told Vidura that he is nearby, very nearby from here. He is there. So he will tell you everything. So saying this, Uddhava left for Badrikashram in the Himalayas. Then after a few days, Vidura also came to the Ganges, where he met the great sage Rishi Maitreya. And this is the conclusion of this fourth chapter. Chapter 5 is a very small chapter. We'll just give you a little highlights of this chapter. Chapter 5 is Vidura's talks with Maitreya. So Vidura in this chapter, Srila Prabhupada says in the translations that he actually reaches Haridwar on the banks of the Ganges, and that's where he meets Maitreya Rishi. And Vidura offers his respectful obeisances to Maitreya, and he inquires from him very submissively and requests him to narrate the transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. Vidura also says that please explain to me about the different incarnations of the Lord. Please tell me in detail about the devotees of the Lord. Please, I want to know everything, what you have heard from Krishna himself. I want to know each and everything, my dear Guru Maharaj. Please, please, Maitreya Rishi, please tell me and instruct me. So this concludes our fifth chapter of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So chapter 6 we will start tomorrow, where Prabhu will start with chapter 6, and we will continue on how Maitreya Rishi is imparting the knowledge that he has heard from the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. And he has heard that, and he will share that with Vidura and with all of us. So we will hear that nectar tomorrow. So we request all of you to stay tuned. And if there's any questions, comments, or reflections, we can take that now. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we have some questions. Oh, we are starting something very interesting. The interesting thing is that we are going to be doing a quiz at the end of every session. So there'll be just 4 questions. Oh, we have 4 questions. We'll give you 4 questions, and these questions will also be there in the WhatsApp group, and also in the comments section in both Facebook Live and YouTube Live. We request all of our viewers that please try to answer these quiz questions, comment on it, give the answers in the comment section. Then in our class tomorrow, we will recognize each and every one of the devotees who have answered the quiz questions. So just to have some interaction with all of you, we thought that this could be something interesting. So please let us know your thoughts on this if you like this idea, and please share about this. So today's quiz questions we have is, which chapter, the first question is, which chapter did Shaunaka Rishi refer to in the first canto when asking about Maitreya Muni? So I will just read this. Don't worry that you're not writing it down immediately. But it will all be there in the group. You will have it in the comments. So don't worry about it, okay? So second question is, did Krishna disappear before Vidura returned to Hastinapur or after Vidura returned to Hastinapur? Third question is Lord Krishna Niyam Parayan, Kripa Parayan, or Prem Parayan? Fourth question is, where was Uddhava going when he met Vidura? So this is the fourth question. And we have one more question. There are 5 questions today. So one more question is, Vidura met with Maitreya on the banks of which river? So based on today's class, these are the 5 questions that you have. So please put these questions, reply to these questions in the comments section. And we request you, if you can do it both on YouTube Live and on Facebook, if you can put your comments, we will give double recognition to anyone who does that. So please do share your comments. So any questions for today? Well, thank you. All your comments that yes, you will participate. Thank you. Any questions? Facebook? Yeah, any questions? Okay. All right. So we will end here then. We request you not to answer in the live chat. So please, after the video ends, please, answer it in the comment section. Please don't answer in the live section. So that's our request to you. So we will end here. If there's no questions or comments, we'll end here. Thank you all very much. And we humbly request you to please share about this video, this channel with all your friends. Please like and subscribe. So thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Oh, there's one question? Okay. So there is one question from Divyangi. What should be our qualification to receive causeless mercy from Lord Nityananda? With causeless mercy, you have answered your own question, Divyangi. Causeless mercy means there is no cause. There's no reason for such mercy. We just have to be alive, breathing, and just wanting to accept it. That's all. Even if we don't want to accept it, the Lord finds ways to make us accept it. Even if we want to, kick it out of our lives, somehow or the other, Lord Nityananda's mercy is so great, so magnanimous that he just gives. He just keeps pouring. That's how we see all of our book distributors. We see all of our devotees who go out on Harinam. It is said that Srila Prabhupada says that anybody who gets a book, their passport to go to Vaikuntha is for sure. They have the passport to enter Vaikuntha. And anyone who listens to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, their spiritual life has started. So that is the, glory of Lord Nityananda and his devotees. So I hope that answers your question. All right. So thank you so much again. We will look forward to seeing all of you again tomorrow. Same time, 8 o'clock Central Time. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you.